Hey guys, I wanted to make a video to walk you through some of the things my lathe is doing right and some of the things my lathe is doing wrong. I'll probably upload a couple. We'll see how long each one is. Anyway, we'll turn power on it. This control box has been working pretty well for me, but what hasn't been working well is my serpentine belt. I've got a pretty good glue joint on it as far as I can tell. But here's the glue joint right here. But unfortunately, and it's straight, it's definitely straight, but unfortunately what I have is a tracking issue. So I'll turn the machine on, we'll start it in slow. You can see it tracks a good bit. And then of course as we up the speed, so now we're up to 1300 exactly, it's a good bit of tracking. And that causes a vibration in the machine. If I bring it to slower speeds, there we go, and I can get my collet holder to vibrate. I don't know if you're able to see that or not. So I'm kind of desperate to fix that. I've tried alignment of the pulley here, left and right. I've also loosened the bolts that hold the underdrive assembly to the bench, and I've rotated those. You can also see I have a good bit of tracking even on my V-belt. That's running on a cheap die-cast aluminum sheave, and I have a feeling that that thing's not running true, so I'll probably replace that at some point, or at the very least true it up. So here's the tracking down at the counter shaft. It's a good bit. So let me know your ideas. It's something I'm pretty adamant about fixing it. I also finished, in hopes of improving the vibration, I finished some very solid jack feet that were made on the lathe. 2 3/4 inch diameter, 1018 steel. The bolts are, the jack screw itself is threaded with a little hole for tightening. And then there's a little mount that mounts to the foot of the lathe, and that's on all four. And I spent some time yesterday getting the machine nice and level. It was level before, but I was using the rubber feet, and those are more of a vibration insulating than they are a vibration dampening. So I felt like it would be worth improving that. Under there is where the VFD is stored. The AC power from the panel goes into that box, and then from there it's run to the motor, as well as up to the control box. And you can see my wiring back here. I'm trying to use grommets where I can and strain reliefs, although that hole right there has no strain relief. I got a little lazy. Everything runs up through that pipe and then out and to the back of my control panel. Quick image of my shop in general. I do a lot of restorations of antiques. That right there is an antique fan in primer. And here's some of my whip rack, or work in progress. We've got various antique fans. And in here is my, what I call my dust room. This is where I do all my grinding, blasting, polishing, anything that generates a considerable amount of dust. I try and clean it up in here periodically. Got a dust collection system. I'll shut the door and vacuum everything up, blow everything else around so as to get the dust up in the air and then into the filter. Pretty lousy little table saw that I've had for close to probably 15 years. Then here's my paint booth. Do a lot of antique fans get painted in here. Here's some castings and primer waiting to be shot. Paint mixing, filters, lights. And that's ducted to outside with a tube axial fan, a pretty big fan, for taking care of that. Put a little window in so my wife knows where I am if I'm in the booth painting. So basement shop, a lot like a lot of people's basement shops. Space is always an issue. Even it's a decent sized shop, but you have to use every square foot wisely. Sorry for the mess, but you know, that's how shops get sometimes. That's an exterior door and a bathroom there, so that makes life easy. Well, anyway, thank you. And if you have any ideas of what's going on, I've been talking to a friend of mine, Jeremy, and I think I'm going to actually consider getting rid of the serpentine belt altogether. When I received the serpentine belt, it was very kinked and twisted from being packaged, and I just kind of wonder if it's possible to get those things running true. For whatever it's worth, on the last serpentine belt that I was experimenting with before I snapped it, I actually had less tracking than on this one, and nothing else has changed. The glue joint is improved from the last serpentine belt that I snapped, so I just really don't understand exactly what's going on. Anyone who's run the nylon reinforced rubber machine tool belts, that's what I'm leaning toward next. It's probably going to cost me about $60, but I feel like it's worth it. I put a lot of time and energy and money into this machine, and if the only difference is, you know, getting a better belt to improve this situation, then it's exactly what I'm going to do. All right, thanks guys. Bye.